All right. We are back with a new vision for the team, but the same old mess.
Yep.
This is family
I'm not
bonding.
saying that they're going
This
to
is
win.
family bonding. Oops, sorry about that. This is family bonding, the mother and son post game show. And it's one of those situations that we find ourselves in, where we have hope, and then we're right back to the same mess. Before we get right into it, I want to make sure that everybody understands that we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. It's been a while, and we really need to get there. And the son will shave his head completely bald. We said December 1. He wants to push it to the 31st of December, and I'm fine with that too. I will change the graphic at some point, but for now, if for some we had some sort of rush of people who subscribed, I wouldn't be mad at that. So do
I
that.
wouldn't either.
Like, subscribe, chat with us, leave us a comment after the show, during the show, share it with a friend, do all those things. All right, let's get into life after Brian Daboll. What do you got to say, son?
Well, I didn't get to see the whole game because I was
I
traveling
can't hear
back
you.
from
Why
Florida.
is
What?
that?
What do you mean you can't hear me? What? It can't be me. I'm using the right mic.
You're good. It was me.
All right. As I was saying, I just came back from traveling from Florida, so I didn't even get to see the whole game. But from what I saw a little bit of run pass. I saw that they were using different run plays. They had the guards pulling on the outside, trapping them in the inside, so that way the lineman could seal through the hole and be a lead blocker. The guards seem to be doing better with the pool blocking. I saw a lot of running in different gaps instead of just running the same gap and trying to do the same thing. I saw Jameis Winston get trigger happy at the end there, and in Jameis Winston fashion, he almost threw a pick several times in just a short amount of time I was watching. Whether it was the receiver not being able to bring it in because he threw it just slightly out of Wandale Robinson's reach, and the defender bobbled it and it eventually hit the ground, whether it's Jameis Winston overthrowing it to a safety and the safety unable to catch it because he overthrew the friggin' safety too. It's Jameis Winston. I expect this from him. I expect him to make a decent play here and there, and then to show us why he is the journeyman that he is and has been bouncing around all these teams. And I still felt that there was a chance for us to win until the end, but right when he threw that pick, the official pick that the Packers have been basically waiting for that whole fourth quarter, I knew it was over from that moment. And then to see him get sacked by Micah Parsons at the end, who is 9-0 against the Giants, it's just, and most of that was, of course, with the Cowboys. So, um, but when you look at the team, it still looks relatively the same. They did do better on the run today, but they played against the injured Packers team. And I do feel that despite the injuries we had on offense, I don't think it really made a difference. I really do think that at the end of the day, we were going to lose the game because, as we know, when the Giants have a lead of 10 or more or are trailing with 5 minutes left in the game, it's over. It's not really hard to deduce. We've seen it
Yeah.
so many times over the last 8 years, 9 years.
Yeah,
But this
for
season
sure.
alone, when we've had a lead of 10 or more and there was 5 minutes left, the game wasn't over yet. So what's the difference if we're trailing by seven with five or less? I'm not really that upset. What I'm upset about is that we took this long to see what our team could be like without Daboll.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, we had a chance to beat a decent team that's just been struggling really. Um, But in the end, would it have made a difference if we won this game? No. We're
No.
already so far into the season that winning these meaningless games, as I've been calling it over the last 6, 7 years, winning these meaningless games only hurts us. We've got practice squad players in the receiving core. You got Jalen Hyatt, who, by the way, Jameis Winston, that interception wasn't entirely his fault. I could tell Jalen Hyatt was supposed to run a corner route over to the top of the end zone, but he didn't. He actually stopped. And because we don't use him enough, he didn't get the reps that he needed to get to feel like he knows what he's doing. And now you've got an inexperienced receiver who's been underutilized since he's been drafted. that really the game kind of fell on his shoulders because he didn't run the right route. At the end of the day, Jameis Winston's the one that threw it. But if you look at the replay, if you know football, very clearly, Jameis Winston threw it at the spot he thought Hyatt was going to be. He didn't overthrow him. He threw it where Hyatt should have been. But Hyatt turned the corner, a very narrow corner route, turned, and by the time he even turned his head, the ball was already in the DB's hands. It was too late. So that's basically all I really got to see. I got to see a decent run game. I got to see the offense look a little different. It's still the same old Giants. We struggled. We made some questionable decisions. The going for it on fourth down instead of going for the field goal before we ultimately got the ball back to try to give one more shot again. There were just some things that I saw that stunk of Brian Daboll-esque decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and at this point, I had one of my friends text me, Shenko, actually, one of our subscribers and fans. He actually texted me and said, the Giants coaching staff needs a complete culture change and just everybody needs to go. And yes, absolutely. Everything right now currently stinks of Brian Daboll. Whatever's
Yeah,
going on in the coaching staff, it's just Brian Daboll. Now, Joe Shane also has his hand in that. It's both him and Daboll. But when you look at it this way, Joe Shane, if he's still somehow in this office, he better find a head coach that doesn't need to prove himself, a head coach that has a resume that can be trusted and has credibility. Someone like a Mike Tomlin. It doesn't even have to be Mike Tomlin. It just can't be another person who's never been in a head coaching role, and this would be his first opportunity. We've already done that with four other coaches. I'm done.
it's the formula doesn't work. We've seen
It
that now.
doesn't.
We've proven that the formula of taking the position coach and elevating them to to really lead one of the long-standing franchises in the NFL, and not treat it with like gold and just give it to some guy to let him come up under. It's we should be cultivating our own head coaches, not under a great head coach that we already have. Not taking a guy who could be good that's somewhere else and then bringing him to us and then letting him learn on the job. Literally learn on the job. This is not the type of job you can have someone learn like that from.
No. I'm looking at the Giants' record in the last 7 seasons. We're 42 and 98.
That's pretty scary, actually.
In the last 7 seasons, the New York Giants are 42 and 98.
Yeah, that's
I,
pathetic.
we almost have 100 losses in 7 years. 100 losses in 7 years.
I'm
That's more than 10 losses a season averaging. Like, when are we gonna fix it? You can't tell me every single year comes down to bad players. You can't tell me that every single season of those last seven comes down to the team just stinks because the players stink. No. There's got to be coaching involved. There's got to be GM decision making involved. You can't just say that's the players. You can't.
Yeah.
The players only do what the coaches tell them to. So if they're making the wrong plays and doing the wrong things and making the wrong reads, breaking down in coverage, not being poised in the pocket, not trying to be patient, and not breaking your contain when you're trying to pass rush the quarterback, these are all the little things that the Giants players do because of poor coaching and
Mhm.
bad decision making by these coaches.
Yeah, yeah. We have Michael Holmes is in the house. Benny Boom just joined, but Michael Holmes has been here. Um, he said good running, passing, but another disaster. Not surprised by the loss. Um, and then he also said that the Giants agreed that the Giants have a losing culture. At this
Yep.
point, that's what it is. And our channel fans know it. We know it. Everybody knows it. And for me, what I saw today when it came to offensive play calling was a guy who was actually able to run the calls that he wanted to run. I know for sure, and I've always suspected it. Other people have said it. Commentators have said it. Analysts have said it. You know that Brian Daboll wanted. I think he was power hungry. I think he was overriding Kafka's play calls.
all the time, the
all
same
the
way he did
time.
everything with everything
There were
else.
at least two seasons that I could think of, it might have been three, where he was actually he said he was going to be doing the actual calls, like he wanted to execute that himself. Um and Kafka was a man today who was able to just see his vision come to life and execute it himself. And there was a difference in that. We are
There
missing some
was.
pieces. We are missing our franchise, quarterback that we are
And
cultivating,
running back and receiver.
and our running back and our receiver. If we had those guys in place, I think Kafka would have been. It would have been like a playground for him today.
He wouldn't have used Jackson Dart as a running back for sure.
Oh no,
That was
absolutely not.
Daboll trying to paint this picture that because he brought Dart in here, Dart has to be the man to do everything. And he wanted it to be that because Daboll brought him in, this is why the Giants do better. But that's ego.
I was about to say he was the egomaniac.
All of these things come down to ego. Every decision he's made, Wink Martindale resigning, ego. All of it. It was all ego.
Oh, just to interrupt, Benny Boom 68 says that was a good game today. He liked the way they played with the effort, and he was there with his best friend. He is
Wow.
related to Jameis. His best friend's related to Jameis.
That's
Well,
fun.
please tell your best friend to let Jameis know that I think he's a delight. I think he's a nice young man, nice God fearing young man, and to
Yes.
please have him keep praying to deliver him away from those pick sixes. I feel bad for the brother. Our offense did a great job uh, making sure he didn't get as many as he could have. Because we saw what those picks. We saw those opportunities, those pick six opportunities. They were there. And even if it was just a pick and not a pick six, but a pick nonetheless. The guy almost had it in the hands of a defender many, many times today. And shout out to everybody who did their part to not make it as bad, right? Of course, he got the worst part of the time in the game to get a pick six in those final seconds where we could have, gotten a play in something in the end zone and won. But that was a long shot anyway.
If you ask me, I still don't think that was his fault. I think the receiver ran the wrong route. And this comes down to the fact that, like I said before, Jalen Hyatt has been severely criminally underused.
Yes, it's true.
Criminally.
It's true.
Like criminally. We don't use him, which means he doesn't get reps, which means he probably doesn't have these plays fresh in his mind. So now that Mike Kafka's in control and he's using all of the people that are available to him, including Jalen Hyatt, maybe over these next few games you'll see something different. Maybe these players that haven't had the time to study these plays and have them drilled into their brain, maybe in a couple of weeks, Jalen Hyatt doesn't screw that route up. And it's a touchdown. I'm telling you from a football and analytical standpoint, Jalen Hyatt was not ready for that route because if you watch it in slow motion, he turns his head as Jameis Winston already threw it. But in real time, Jameis Winston can't predict if the receiver knows the route or not. He just has to throw it where he was coached to throw it. If he has a play that's supposed to go to the top of the key or corner rather, top left corner of the end zone, he's going to throw it in that 1.5 to 2 seconds he has. He's in a spot to see the zone. He sees that the receiver is about to cross over. He throws it. Halfway through the throw, the receiver didn't cross over. And guess what? It was a pick. That's not on Jameis Winston. That's the receiver with a lack of practicing that play, with the lack of just experience, and he's underutilized, which is why we still, to this day, 3 or 4 years into Jalen Hyatt's career, this man is still developing and trying to find his identity on an offense where he should have been used from the jump. We should have used him, even if you're not going to throw it to him, just have him run down the field, force them to cover him, because if he's down the field and open, I promise you just got to throw it there and get it to him. He'll catch it. But the problem is we don't design those plays for Jalen Hyatt. And I do want to talk about this. There was a cross route, or not even a cross route, there was a flat route that Wan'Dale Robinson ran. And I know Jameis thought about throwing it, but he didn't want to make any mistakes and he didn't throw it. And I think if he had just gave it a shot, Wan'Dale Robinson may have scored a touchdown. I
Yeah,
wish I could remember the
absolutely.
timestamp.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember the timestamp, but I remember there were two receivers running drag routes. One ran a drag, one ran a slant over the top. The slant was covered, but the drag being Wan'Dale Robinson was open. He had at least 2.5 to 3 yards of space. I do think if Jameis had a little more opportunities to play instead of Russell Wilson
Exactly.
over the last couple of weeks, he might have
Absolutely.
felt more confident
100%.
and would have made that throw. But because that was his first game in, he just wanted to make some sort of identity for himself in the New York Giants offense. All he wanted to do was make the least mistakes possible. But he was thrown into a situation where his first start on the team, the record is 2-10 or 2-8, excuse me. And all he's thinking is, I can't throw a pick. I can't make mistakes. And that gets to a quarterback, especially a quarterback. It gets to players in general, but it gets to a quarterback when that's their opportunity to play and they know their time is limited because Jaxson Dart's coming back and he just wants to try to get the best possible performance that he can. But he
Absolutely.
he definitely overthought it and he didn't throw it. And I
Yeah.
believe it was a sack as a result. But it is
Well,
what it is.
yeah. All right. So we have some more activity in the chat. Uh, Benny Boom, 68 said he is waiting to meet Jameis Winston. So I told him to tell Jameis, the mother and son, give him a shout out and give him some well wishes. Uh,
Yes. He did the best he could with the resources he has
You did
currently.
the best you could with the resources that you had. We've got retired in Naples today. Today was another L, but getting rid of Daboll was a big W, 100%.
Yes.
We've got Ryan Williams saying, thanks for stopping in, Ryan. This talent on this team is not good enough to win in the NFL. And if Joe Shane stays as GM, we'll uh, have years of bad football to come. And there's no question about that. We are in
Yeah.
rebuild mode as far as the talent. Granted, many of them are either on IR or temporarily hurt. But yeah, we can't rely on him to stack us better, right? We can't rely on him to do that because we know what type of decisions and we know how he gets. We know he's okay with letting some, a top player, most popular players walk away. He's fine with that. We've seen it. We know the story,
For
right?
cheaper, less talented players,
For
thinking that
cheaper,
he's
less
getting
talented.
a budget purchase on a player, whatever the hell that means. Now, I do want to add something onto the Joe Shane. I don't remember saying this. Shanko actually mentioned this. I'll give him credit for this. Shanko was telling me that if John Mara finds that Joe Shane doesn't replace him, or replace Daboll with a better head coach and get the right people in the locker room, that John Mara may potentially fire him and proceed with whatever course of action he'll go with moving forward.
Mm,
But that is allegedly a statement. I can't confirm this. This is just what Schenko was confirming with me after reading some articles. He heard that Mara will more than likely fire Joe Shane if he does not find an appropriate head coach replacement. So we'll have to keep that in
okay.
mind, Giants fans, moving forward. We have to see if John Mara is really about that action, and we'll get rid of Shane if it means the betterment of the team and the front office moving forward, which are our biggest issues right now, the front office and coaching.
Yeah.
Which is weird because most teams' problems is that they lack depth or they don't have a quarterback. Their defense stinks. They don't have any receivers. Something like that. Something that is very player focused on
Mm-hmm.
why they can't succeed. But
Mm-hmm.
for us, it's coaching staff and it's management. There are some talent positions that we lack, while on the other side we have great talent at positions that we're not really utilizing correctly, or like my mother said, due to injuries, they can't play. So, and the injuries is a big issue that stems from the turf. But we've already done a separate video on that, so we won't talk too much about the turf. But let's be real here. That turf gradually causes these injuries that we see happening in real time during these games. That those home field games can't be doing anything at least justice for the Giants when we play.
Mm.
Even I wouldn't be surprised if people are banged up because of the game that we had today. That's just our turf. Our turf causes a lot of contactless injuries. So we need to do our best to stay healthy on the field. And once we have Jaxson Dart back, let's just pray we stop using him like he's a dang fullback and run him into the ground, literally. Because that's exactly what happened. We ran that boy into the ground. He didn't get back up. So, and it's funny, a short or reel, whatever you want to call it, a video of John Gruden begging Jaxson Dart to change how he plays and his play
Wow.
style that it was dangerous was resurfaced because this already came out before the season started. And I remember watching it. And at first I was like, well, Jaxson Dart, maybe he'll be all right. But looking back, John Gruden was right. He said the way you play is scary and you're going to get yourself hurt. How am I, as a head coach, going to make a game plan if my guy, Jackson Dart, is on the sideline?
Mm-hmm.
And Jackson Dart said that he would try to work on it. He hasn't worked on it. Now look where he's at.
I think he will now. I mean, sometimes
He
it
has
takes you,
to.
it takes you to go and have, 2 weeks of rest because of a concussion to realize that to make better decisions with your head.
Yeah, like slide down. Stop running into these 240-pound linebackers that are running at 4.5, 4.4 speed, trying to take your head off. Why are we
Right.
doing that?
Yeah.
You're not in college anymore, my man. I understand that you want to get us the first down, you want to be the dog on the New York Giants, but that doesn't work if you're hurt. You gotta swallow that pride. You're not
Yeah.
in college anymore. Slide. It's
Yeah.
that simple. Just slide.
I just
Everyone
want
else does it.
and as you know, they're also trained to do it.
Yeah.
The I wanted to say I put a poll in that I hope people will see um, about Brian Daboll's firing. The poll in the you should be able to see it in the chat. Why Brian was Brian Daboll micromanaging Mike Kafka's offensive calls this whole time, causing bad play calls? I want to hear what you think. I gave my thoughts. I want to hear what our fans think. Because it is easy to blame the guy that was just fired, right? But it
Yeah.
gives you a sense of there's something else was going on behind the scenes. And I'm gonna ask the son because I'm not sure of this myself. Do all offensive coordinators choose to be up in the booth up high? Do they all do their calls from there?
I guess it depends on who it is. A lot of them be on the field, some of them
It
be
was
on
just
the.
weird to see Kafka on the field because he was always up high, always and
Well, now he's the
I'm
head
thinking
coach.
right. But what I'm saying is you also see OCs on the field too. He was never there standing arm in arm. Oh my,
Maybe Dayball didn't want him there.
exactly. And I think maybe Dayball he didn't even like it. Like I think they butted heads.
I mean, we have an idea of the type of person Dayball is to work with from Wink Martindale. I'm gonna keep going back to this. Wink Martindale resigned. He didn't get fired.
True.
He didn't decide to go
And
to
he
a
was a
different team.
seasoned guy. He was a seasoned coach.
He didn't say there was any other reason. He just said, I just don't appreciate how Brian Daboll handled the firing of my position coaches. But there are a lot of things in between the lines there because he kept it vague for a reason.
It's true.
And we all saw them arguing on the sideline during one of our games that we lost because the coaches started arguing. We saw it. Brian Daboll and Wink Martindale were screaming at each other at the top of their lungs. Screaming at each other at the top of their lungs. And from that point forward, Wink Martindale shut down. He shut down. He lost like all motivation to coach the New York Giants defense. That from that game forward. And then when it was time for position decision making and all that stuff for coaches and whatnot, he said, I'm out. He resigned. I'm gonna say it again. He did not get fired or decide to ask to be on another team. That boy just walked out.
Yeah.
It takes a lot for the amount of money that those coaches make. It takes a lot for you to just say, you know what? Screw this. I'm out because of a guy you're working with. That tells me that Brian Daboll was extremely toxic, controlling, and stubborn, and you couldn't really change his mind. If he had a game plan, even if it was wrong, he's going through with it. Doesn't care. As long as he knows that he's in charge and he's the one making the play decisions, everyone else can kick rocks. And that is a recipe for disaster, failure, and losing. Because when you have a toxic leader like that, who's going to listen to a toxic leader like that who's a
That's
jerk?
true.
Nobody wants to listen to a jerk or somebody that thinks that they have to have control of everything. Why do you need control of everything? Why can't the defensive coordinator do what he wants? Why can't the defensive coordinator have any sort of merit? The guy asked you to talk to him before you made any decision making with any of the coaches, but you went behind Wink's back and fired them all. You didn't save any, you didn't spare anyone. You fired everyone. That's a smack in the face to a grown man. After he asked you to show him some respect and talk to him about all these coaches that you want to get rid of. Just let me know who you're trying to get rid of. Can we negotiate it? And Daboll said, screw you, and literally fired all of them, thinking that Wink Martindale was just going to sit there and take it. No, that's unacceptable. And it's why we're in this position. It's why our defense has declined since Wink Martindale has left, but only gets better on paper. That's the only defensive roster I've seen get better on paper, but decline. It doesn't make any sense.
It's
I
true.
see. I see. We got some comments in the regarding the question. I see we've got retired in Naples saying not necessarily regarding the poll for
Yeah.
and so I would let Dart heal, play him for what? Maybe just for reps, but Dart should just get healthy. I agree, Michael. I agree. Retired in Naples, slide, Dart, slide. Yes, he has to slide. We got two giant goofballs is his name. I love that. His
I love two giant
That's a
goofballs
great
that
name.
New York Giants do. Thank you for stopping by. We'll have to check. It's some news and update. Looks like you have
Bowen needs
some
to be
sort of
fired. Yes.
podcast or something. I'll check see what you're doing. But
Yes.
anyway, yeah, Wink sucked too. No, Wink was good. Wink actually had a good defense. So, he had the good squad that he was coaching on defense, right? Did I
I
miss that?
mean, Week's defense was good. I think the issue was is that we had some weaknesses at a time where we had just lack of actual depth at positions. So it looked like his
He was a
defense was
schmuck.
reckless.
He said he was a schmuck. Okay.
You must not like Wink. He must not like Wink.
Oh my God,
He said
that's
Wink
too
also asked the
funny.
equipment team to make jerseys for guys on the practice squad because he wanted them called up and all. Well, I mean that when you talk about that, that's more of a money standpoint. I feel like they have to pay extra to put names on practice squad jerseys. But I can't say that Wink Martindale was perfect. And I won't say that. And I can't say that he was the best, but I also can say that he's not the worst though.
Yeah,
He
true,
definitely wasn't the best, and he definitely wasn't the worst.
true.
He came in at a time where the focus still was, is Daniel Jones the guy? The defense we already knew was good, but they would get tired quickly because they're always on the field.
Mm,
So it looked like the defense was bad, but in reality, how can any defense be good if you have no time to rest because your offense can't stay on the field for more than a minute?
hmm.
Not a minute of game time. I'm talking a minute in real time.
That's
Like
right.
we were three and out in under a minute of clock time. Like that's happened so many times. So, and I have a perfect example. When I played in college football, my team, the defensive side of the ball, every time they would come off the field, about 30 seconds would go by, and the coach would say, "Defense, get ready." One of the players decided to talk smack. He said, "God damn, every time I come off the field, all I hear is D, get ready." It's like he was getting tired of hearing defense get ready
D, get
because
ready.
they were always on the field. That's the
Yes. Well,
same thing that's
well,
happening at the NFL level.
right. Well,
The
here's
same
the
thing.
thing. Unfortunately, um, we had a couple of 8-minute drives on offense. That was
Yeah.
not good. That was not good. We don't
No,
want that either, right?
no.
We don't want that. Um, and I think one of them we did not net out with any points. It was just for naught. And we've had that happen this week, obviously. We had it happen in previous weeks this season. The clock management has got to get better. And I feel like we've said this for the last few seasons, right?
Yeah. We've got two giant goofballs coming in with Giants defense, 26 in points per game, giving up 22nd. Wait, what? Why does it say in 2 and 22? Oh, are you trying to say in 20 through 2022? That's what he's saying. So, well, okay, so when you put out a stat like that, you can kind of go back to what I said how in the first half the Giants played good ball, but in the second half, when that fatigue kicks in, they start giving up yards. If you look at all the yards that were gained on the New York Giants in those years from 2020 to 2022, most of it was in the second half. We became the team that was known for collapsing in the second half. There was no adjustments. It was just the best you saw was in the first half, and then quarters three and four was just phoning it in. That's it. That's what you saw. And you can't, I'd find somebody hard pressed to disagree with that. We started strong. And just on defense, forget offense. On defense, we started strong in the first half. And in the second half, We get tired, there's no adjustments, and all of a sudden, that good defense is getting ran over. They're throwing the ball however they want. Everyone's getting open downfield. You also had inconsistent people like what's his name? What was number two's 22's name? Oh my God. Uh Adoree
What
Jackson.
I was gonna say,
Adoree
what
Jackson.
position?
So Adoree Jackson is one of those people that one week he played out of his mind, and then the next week he can't cover anything. A window with a curtain over it, he's getting the ball still going through.
Yeah,
He couldn't cover. So you have to look in between the lines when you look at that defense and you look at what we were dealing with on the offensive side of the ball, where if there was nothing happening on offense, you had to rely on your defense to get a stop, get a turnover, maybe score on defense. There were times where we had to pray our defense could get us in position to where all we had to do was just walk into the end zone. And obviously that's not realistic. But me and my mom and other people would always be like, we just need a big stop. Defense needs a big stop. But it was always that. It was never, oh, Daniel Jones has to get a big touchdown here because we knew he couldn't do it. If you sat there and you thought, Daniel Jones, I need him to drive down this field in a minute and 30 and score. Who the hell is thinking that? Who was thinking that when he was on the Giants? I wasn't. I was thinking, can we just not get a turnover? Can we get a field goal? Can we get
right,
something?
right.
I'm not thinking he's going to punch it in. I have never thought that Daniel Jones was going to punch it in. Not that version of him with that team. No. It had to be the defense overperformed so that the Giants offense had an opportunity to maybe crawl by for a touchdown. I don't know. It never could be that the defense gets a good stop, they punt it, and then we drive down the field. It needs to be no, we gotta get a fumble. We need an interception right here. We need to just get them to turn it over. I don't like that's how it was. We had to overcompensate on defense for the offense.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, we know we are in a rebuild mode. I've labeled this the last chance season. It really was about, there's still people that need to go. Obviously, I am tired of being in real rebuild mode. I'm sick of it.
Okay, correction. I do not like Shane Bowen for collapsing in the second half, but there's two different reasons why the defense collapsed in the second half under Shane Bowen versus Wink Martindale. Look at the time of possession the New York Giants offense has comparatively to those 2020 to 2022 seasons. It's more. Even as we stink right now, we've had more of a time of possession because Jaxson Dart, even if we didn't score, he drove us to the red zone.
Yep.
Even if we don't score. There were times when Daniel Jones would get the ball and
I'm
all we
sorry.
did was lose yards.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at two giant goofballs. That's what he said. We are in a rebuild decade. This is
Man, we about to
embarrassing.
be in a rebuild 20 years. We're approaching that. A collapse is a collapse. I can't argue that. A collapse is a collapse. But you have to look at how they collapsed. There's collapsing because you're incompetent, and then there's collapsing because the personnel is just exhausted and you have a very limited source of defense. Again, I am not trying to give an excuse to Mike Martindale for the defense collapsing in the second half, but when you look at why they collapsed, you have to apply context when you make statements like these. You have to apply context. The Giants offense had the bottom three offensive line those years, 2020 to 2022. We had a bottom three line across the board. Every position that offensive line was dog shit. Every single one. Andrew Thomas wasn't playing the full season at the time.
Oh
You
my
were you were
God.
lucky if you played 3 games a week in a row. If he could play 3 games
Oh
in a
my
row,
God. I don't think he
you were
ever
lucky. I don't think he
before
did.
I don't think he ever played 3 games in a row before that
Not
long
in that
stretch where he
span.
didn't play at all.
No. He was there for maybe 2 weeks. He'd be gone for a couple of weeks, come back. All of a sudden, he's injured the same game. So if you're going to tell me right now that we can ignore that offensive line, because the offensive line we have right now is leagues better than what we had
Oh
even just a
yeah.
year ago. Even just a year ago. It's
Oh
still
yeah.
not good. Don't get me wrong. That line is still bad.
Yeah.
It's still not a good
Yeah.
offensive line. I'm not trying to say the current line is good. It's just when you look at the 2020 to 2022 offensive lines, that was some of the worst offensive lines in NFL history. Forget the Giants, NFL history. It was terrible.
They
They
were
were awful.
They
They
were
they were
not to be trusted to
horrendous.
protect anything.
Saquon was injured all those. Think about all those injuries Saquon had during that time.
It's true.
Was it because of the turf? More probably not. More often than not, it was because that dude had five people on him every play, and there was nowhere for him to go. And when
Yeah.
you constantly get beat up like that, that accrues injuries.
Hmm.
So you have to look at the context.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Andrew Thomas, my second fave, Thomas, the Dave Thomas.
Dave
Man,
Thomas from Wendy's.
yes, I love those Frosties, he said. Man, Andrew Thomas, you gonna hate me. Andrew Thomas is a bum. I hate Andrew Thomas. I,
Yeah.
I, I think I
Son
think
does not. He
one
has
week
no
he's the
love.
best tackle in football. The next week he can't cover anything. He's
Yeah.
inconsistent and he's injured too much.
Yeah.
I don't like Andrew Thomas.
Yeah.
I
He
think
can't
that
be.
he had so much potential. He had so much
Yeah.
potential.
It's just and Evan Neal, who's somehow
Who
maintains
who
a.
was that? Who was Ebed Neal?
Sometimes I hear his name, like the commentators are mentioning it, and I'm like, is he out there? I mean, are they just saying that they wish he was out there? I mean, like, because he's not
He ain't
like,
out there.
and then they refer to him as one of the best in the league in his position. How do they know this?
He's
He's
not
never
playing.
playing.
He's not playing. Evan Neal is a bum. I hope you get the irony of saying that. This isn't Russell Wilson. This is not Russell Wilson. This is not Russell Wilson. I will sit here like this and talk the rest of the podcast if you think that this is Russell Wilson. That this is not a Russell Wilson jersey. Don't don't do that to me. That's blasphemy. Don't ever do that. I would never, and I mean never, buy a Russell Wilson anything. Anything. I've had this jersey since Sterling Shepard changed his jersey number from, I think, was it 8? No, it wasn't 18. What the hell was it? Whatever his jersey, it was 80 something.
You're right. It was 80 something.
It
Yeah.
was 80 something. Whatever
Yeah.
his jersey number was, he basically changed his jersey number. I don't know why he changed it, but he took a pay cut. And when he took that pay cut, he changed his jersey number. So when I ordered the Shepherd jersey to support him for taking a pay cut, I got the number 3. I didn't get his original. So this is not Russell Wilson. I don't support him in any way, shape, or form. I hope that guy gets cut next week. That's how much I don't like Russell Wilson. That needs to be
It's
said.
unfortunate.
This is not a Russell Wilson jersey.
Yeah.
And I will never have a Russell Wilson jersey ever in my life. Not even a Seahawks one. No.
Oh my God. You know what? I don't know.
He said, y'all are going to be called for a drug test for that stuff.
I don't know.
Look at the line before Thomas got healthy. Look at last year when the line was doing
I
good
don't
and
even
then went to
remember what
crap.
anything was like before he got hurt with his toe nagging
I
toe
mean, if you
injury.
look at Andrew Thomas's overall record right now, or rather his success rate, if you just look at his Pro Football Focus, let's look at his Pro Football Focus over the last 5 years. No, like this is a good conversation because the guy is a fraud. He's a fraud.
He's
Y'all
a
can drug test me. I'll fail the drug test. I don't care. He's a fraud. Over the last 5 years, Andrew Thomas' Pro Football Focus grade shows a strong upward trend, meaning that it started at a low score.
yeah,
Strong upward trend implies that he's doing better as
yeah,
opposed to when he first started. If there was a downward trend, it would mean he started strong and is going down. So already what I'm saying is matching what they're saying, is
yeah,
that his Pro Football Focus rating has only gone up, which means he's improving. But when you look at it, how he started, it's the injuries that he had. It's the injuries he accrued that made it so he couldn't play and be on the field consistently. And then you look at some of the tough matchups he's had, he couldn't do anything to those guys. Chase Young, early in his career, destroyed Andrew Thomas. He couldn't do anything to him. Nothing. Don't act like you don't remember those games. Chase Young was all over Daniel Jones back then.
no, that's true.
I know you have to remember that. So don't act like I'm just pulling this out my ass. If you look at so it even shows you right here, year by year Pro Football Focus performance. 2021, Thomas's game improved significantly, leading to a notable increase in his overall Pro Football Focus, which means that at first he started poorly and then he increased. So now you look at 2022. This was a standout year for Thomas, which it was, where he achieved his highest Pro Football Focus grades. So if that's true, why are the Giants still stink?
Right.
Why
We
couldn't
can
we
we can
pass?
argue this forever. Let's just
If
say
that's
this.
who cares what he did if we don't perform?
Right. We
Wait,
have
wait, there's more. I'm not done. 2023. 2023 season was affected by injuries. But Thomas still performed well, allowing only 4 sacks, one QB hit, and 2 penalties over 10 games. That's a small sample size, 10 games. It's
Yeah,
it's it's a small sample size.
yeah.
What teams did he play in those 10 games? Did he play
Mhm.
hard teams? Now let's look at 2024. Injuries continued to limit his playing time. Come on, man. Come on, man. Don't do this to me. Don't sit here
Ah,
and don't sit here and defend Andrew Thomas. You can't sit here and defend this. You can't. Now it says in this season he's played exceptionally well. Shocker. We're playing. We're talking about he's played. It says right here he earned a 91.8 run blocking grade in week 5 against the Chicago Bears. Week 5. We played the Bears in week 5? Why does it feel like we played them so much later?
wait, what year?
It said 2025. Is that correct?
We played the Bears last week. Did we play them twice
That's
already this
not week
season?
5.
No, it
What
was
is
week
this? What is
10.
this crap talking about?
Did we play them
Unless
twice?
they're talking about, are they talking about last season into the year 2025? But we played
That's
them in
not,
week
that can't
5.
be possible. It wouldn't be week
No,
5.
week
It was a
5.
typo. Typo.
It has to be. It has to be because that don't make no sense. It's not week 5. It's like week 9 or something. Whatever it was.
No, this is week 11. Last week was week 10.
Whatever. Same
Yeah,
same
week 10.
crap. We're pretty
Yeah,
close. So yeah, but you get my point here.
yeah.
Injuries ruined his career. Um, he's not exactly the worst lineman. I'm not trying to say that Andrew Thomas is the worst lineman. I'm just saying he is not as good as he should be
He's not
because
as
of
good.
his
Right,
injuries. They keep
right.
him off the field. The injuries keep him off the
Exactly.
field. He's not allowed to play a full season apparently. And again, he's gonna have his games where he's the best tackle in football, and then he's gonna have these games where he can't cover anything because he's playing against someone elite. When Andrew Thomas is playing against somebody elite, he struggles, and he's
Yeah,
supposed to be elite himself, so it doesn't make sense.
yeah.
We drafted him at 3 overall. He was third overall draft pick, and the guy couldn't stay on the field for the first couple of years of his career. He's
Because of
just now
injuries.
finally back in his regular like peak condition, if you will. This is peak Andrew Thomas that we're getting right now.
Right now.
Right now. So,
Yeah,
but we're getting
yeah.
him at a time when we don't have our franchise quarterback. Our running back Cam Scatterboo's out for the rest of the season. Malik Neighbors is out for the rest of the season. So what good is it if he's
Right.
in peak condition right now and we're still a
We
bottom
have him
5
when we
offensive line?
don't need him the most.
Pretty much. How was our line before he got healthy? Put Hudson back in there and see what you think then. How about this? Does it matter? We're 2-9.
Yeah.
Does
This
it does it really matter?
our what we have in front of us is just embarrassing. 2-9. And we pulled, Isaiah Hodgins, who really is trying to keep his spot on the active roster. It seems like I got to give him a shout out to him for really pulling it out.
Hmm.
Oh wait, let me just stop myself. Benny Boom says I would like to design a giant shirt for you both. All right, look, uh, talk to me later.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, but like I was saying, we really we have pieces of the puzzle. Tracy, who the son wasn't all that crazy about, he hates Singletary, but Tracy
Yeah, Devin Singletary can kick
Tracy
rocks.
is the guy that can get the ball. When you give it to him, he can move it down the field. You give it to Devin Singletary, he goes straight down the middle there and doesn't care what's there. Whether it's
He
an
just runs
open
into
space,
it.
he just runs right into it.
He just runs into it. He did it. He did it. The one play I saw him run, he did that crap. He just ran. He could have bounced out, but instead he just ran right into the pile. And it's like you could have bounced out and you could have got 5, 6 yards. But instead he ran right in between them damn tackles, or not even in between the guard and the tackle where it was covered. There was no way for him to get through. There was no actual real protection there. He just ran into it. He ran into it and got like 2 or 3 yards.
Yeah,
But imagine if he bounced out
yeah,
and got like 6 to 10.
yeah,
These are the little things, just the little things.
yeah.
Also, 2-9, and we're blaming the guy with an 86 point. We're not blaming him. Who said I'm blaming him?
No. Well, he's
I
just not a
think I
solution.
think I think what's being missed here is the message. The message is that we never have the whole team together at one time, other than the first 2 weeks of the season. And we stunk in both of those games because we had Russell Wilson playing. So I'm not blaming Andrew Thomas. I never said I was blaming him. I never said when did I say I blame Andrew Thomas? I just said
I
Andrew
don't.
Thomas is.
Yeah,
I said he's a bum.
you didn't say
I
that.
can say someone's a bum and not blame them.
But I'd
Sure, he
like to
hasn't given
wrap.
up a sack.
I'd
I'm
like
not.
to.
I'm not ready to wrap it up yet. Hold on. We get this is getting spicy.
I'm hungry.
Then eat while we're talking, because I have one more thing to say.
All right, you close it out.
Andrew Thomas. I'm gonna talk about Andrew Thomas real quick. I understand that this boy has allowed 0 sacks this season, but what have we done with Andrew Thomas on this team since he's been drafted? We made it to the playoffs one time. One time
I don't remember
on a
when it was.
pee-wee schedule. That was
It was
the
a
easiest
pee.
schedule.
It was our
Every
easiest
single
schedule.
team in the NFC East made the playoffs that year. I'm gonna say it again. Every single NFC East team in 2022 made the postseason. And that's the only season we made it into the postseason. Since then, we've accrued 5 wins or less. Is this really eh, is this really a team that you want to praise anyone on
No,
right now? Which is
absolutely
why I'm
not.
being so hard on Andrew Thomas and others. Because Andrew Thomas, as far as I see it, he should be one of the leaders on this team at this point. He's been there for long enough. And with how good he is on the offensive line and how much better he makes them, when he's not there, they get so bad. But what does that mean? Is it because Andrew Thomas isn't playing, the line stinks? No. What does
Right.
it go back to? Coaching. Ding, 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 ding,
True.
ding. That was the
Yeah, it's
whole
true.
point
Yeah, yeah.
of this. I hear an echo. Uh,
Sorry. Go ahead.
that was the whole point of bringing up anyone. Any player that I brought up in the past 15 minutes, it all comes back to coaching. If one person's missing from that equation, Andrew Thomas goes out, offensive line stinks. Malik Neighbors goes out, the receiving core stinks. Cam Scatterby goes out, the running game's not as good. Jaxson Dart goes out. Now we don't have a quarterback. But
One thing after the other.
you can't tell me every player at a backup position can't play at the NFL level that's currently on that roster. They have some sort of skill that made them make the roster to begin with. But what it comes down to is the coaching or lack thereof that gets these guys to be disciplined and perform better on the field. For Andrew Thomas's sake, it's just staying healthy and being on the field and being a leader for the offensive line. When Andrew Thomas is not healthy, they don't do well. And when he is in his mode of that hiccupy type of play style he had in the earlier years of his career, where again, they said he got way better and he improved, it
Yep.
shows that when Andrew Thomas first started, he struggled. One week he couldn't cover anybody. The next week he was the GOAT. Andrew Thomas
Just like
was
that.
very inconsistent. Was very inconsistent for the first few years of his career. And then it went from being inconsistent to not being able to be on the field. That is why I say he's a bum. It has nothing to do with how he's playing this season. It's the fact that we never could count on him to be there when we needed him most. And then in the first stages of his career, he struggled. You don't draft somebody third overall in the draft, and then they're struggling that early. I expect him to struggle for the first 2 weeks, give or take. But the way he played that first season before he ultimately got injured and couldn't even finish the rest of that season, that is what sticks with me the most about Andrew Thomas. I'm done with the Andrew Thomas rant. He says, I hope you see the point I'm getting at. Let me see.
All right. Thanks, Betty.
That's because
Boom
Money Bunch was a
68
trainer
for
during Kenny.
advocating for me getting some food.
Okay, what's that got to do with anything? Let your mom get something to eat. All right, fine. Didn't we just praise Hodgins? Yeah, but who cares about Hodgins? So quick question, was Joe Thomas bad? Joe Thomas. Who's Joe Thomas again? Why can't I think about who Joe Thomas? Now I gotta look him up. Why
I
can't I
don't
think about who
know.
Joe Thomas? I should know who Joe Thomas is. I should know this person. Hold on.
In retired in Naples, inconsistent and injured. Sounds like a winner.
Joe Thomas, the
But
Cleveland
for the
tackle.
Giants, it
Wait,
is.
did he play for the Giants at one point?
I don't know.
See, if I don't know it, he can't be that good.
And remember, this person's making
Inconsistent and
jokes. It could
injured
be a
sounds like a
joke.
winner.
It could be sending you on a wild goose chase.
I
All
get the
right.
point. I get your point. I do understand your point. And there are two sides to this. But we do need to wrap it up. We can always talk about this another time. Um, we got our game next week. We're playing, I think, the Lions. That's going to be terrible. Especially if they lose to the Eagles. I mean, they're just gonna kick our asses, so they feel better about it. Hall of Famer, not that good. Well, I mean, people don't think Eli Manning is that good, but people
Hey, he
like
got two
me and my
rings.
mom think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
So who knows? There's so many
He
conversations that we
beat
could have.
the GOAT. He
He
definitely
did.
deserves to
He
be in
played
them
for the Browns when they
twice.
sucked. I get that. He did beat the GOAT twice. He beat Brady when it mattered most. And because of him, Brady doesn't have 9 rings when he probably should have 9 or 10. So we get to say that for the rest of our lives. And beyond. Because
Yeah,
I'm sure as the years go on, Brady will only be more solidified as the GOAT, and then they'll keep doing more documenting. He's gonna get the Michael Jordan treatment. They're gonna treat him like Michael Jordan. But because he commentates, he'll get better publicity because he's not gonna be viewed as a jerk like Michael
right.
Jordan is,
Yeah,
because MJ's
he's
viewed as
more
a
of a,
jerk.
you can see more of his personality now.
Yeah, way more of his personality. If
And
MJ started commentating, I think the
you
internet
can
would
also see
break.
that he's not that bright, but that's enough. That's for another time. Um, all right, wrap us up. It
If
looks
we
like we
beat
got a
the
subscriber
Lions,
today. We got a new subscriber. It looks like I see
hey.
at least one or two during this. So thank you to our new subscribers. We appreciate you. Tell your friends. Close us out, son.
Well, last comment because it's funny. Retired in Naples said, "If we beat the Lions, I'll eat my hat." I'm gonna hold you to that, and I
We'll
want to
bring
see
you
you do
on for
it.
that. We
We
might need
will
to
bring
bring you
you
on for
on, and I will react.
that.
Um, I do think that us losing today was a good thing, because we needed to solidify a roster, or excuse me, not roster, drafts position, and we're in such a close like contingency with or contingency for that spot between the Raiders, the Jets, and a few other people that suck. And we've got to make sure we maintain this record. We can't have any meaningless wins coming down the line.
There you
There's
go.
no point. There's no point.
No,
If we win against the Lions, that's not going to be good
no.
because then we play the Raiders, I think, next. I think whatever it is, we either play the Raiders or we play a team and then we play the Raiders. But if we get 2 more wins on the season, we're cooked for next year's draft. We're not going to get a good spot like we want.
Yeah,
So we need to stay where we're at, Giants fans. This is where we need to be. Riding it
for
out. We just got to
sure.
ride this season out. Packers fans, congratulations on your free win. Even though you probably should have beat us by more, it is what it is. I hope that
Facts.
the Packers get their act together because we need other teams to be contending with these cheating Eagles with their stinking tush push play. And it's making me sick. I'm tired of it. So let's just pray that the Eagles lose to the Lions today. That'd be great. And then the Lions, we play them next week. That's pretty much it. So, guys, we'll see you next week. We'd love to see you guys stop in. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Drop a comment if you didn't get the chance to talk to us during the live stream. Let us know what you thought about the game. If you're a Packers fan, how did you feel about the game? Are you frustrated with how close the game was? Did you think we were supposed to get manhandled? What are your thoughts? For the Giants fans, your thoughts. I need to know, how do you feel about post Brian Daboll era week 1? Because
Absolutely.
we already know what we feel. So we
Yeah.
want to know what the rest of our family feels. So as
And
always, guys. Oh, go ahead,
I
mom.
put another poll inspired by our chat today. Thank you to our chat about Jaxson Dart and whether or not he should be playing the rest of the season or they keep him out and let him heal. Answer that. That's in our community, in our mother and son post game show family bonding community. You'll find that there in our in that. It's not in here. You'll find it there, and we appreciate you for showing up as always. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys next week against the Lions. We're probably going to lose. So just be prepared for a podcast to talk about why we lost. Let's be real.
Take care, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right, we are out. 89 chat. Our chat was lively because of you. 43 views today.